The quiet suburban neighborhood of Markham, Ontario, seemed like the least likely place for a shocking crime to unfold. But one night in November of 2010, 3 gunmen invaded a seemingly average home, looting the place for valuables and shooting the homeowners dead. But why did they leave the young daughter, Jennifer Pan, alive? Upon investigation, what seemed like a burglary-turned-homicide soon unraveled into a complex web of deceit and betrayal. Childhood. Jennifer Pan was born on June 17, 1986, to Bud Ha and Han Pan, 2 Vietnamese immigrants who sought refuge in Canada from their war-torn homeland. Like many immigrants, the Pans believed in the promise of North America, a place where hard work, discipline, and dedication would translate into success and prosperity. Jennifer's childhood was much like that of any other first-generation child in Canada. The Pans settled in Ontario and worked hard to provide a comfortable life for Jennifer and her younger brother Felix. From an early age, Jennifer was introduced to the ethos of hard work and perseverance. As a young child, Jennifer was described by many as bright, friendly, and affable. She excelled academically, especially in her earlier school years. Her prowess in music and sports. Jennifer quickly became a well-rounded, ambitious student, seemingly on track for a successful future. Yet, beneath this veneer of achievement was a tangle of expectations and pressures. Jennifer's parents harbored dreams of their children succeeding in their adopted homeland. For them, success was non-negotiable. A combination of top grades, prestigious university placements, and eventually a high-paying, respectable job. The weight of these aspirations rested heavily on Jennifer's shoulders, particularly as the eldest child. The cultural dichotomy Jennifer navigated was not uncommon. On one hand, she grappled with the collective, family-centered values of her Vietnamese heritage, where obedience to one's parents and elders is paramount. On the other, she was influenced by the individualistic, self-expressive norms of her Canadian peers. This dichotomy often puts first-generation children in an unstable balancing act, and Jennifer was no exception. And in her teenage years, cracks began to appear. Jennifer's grades slipped, and the looming specter of university admissions worsened her anxiety. Fearing the repercussions of disappointing her parents, Jennifer embarked on a spiraling path of deception. Forged report cards were just the beginning. Over time, her lies grew in magnitude and complexity. She crafted tales of university acceptances, scholarships, and part-time jobs, even staged photos of a pretend graduation ceremony, all designed to perpetuate the illusion of success. Simultaneously, Jennifer's personal life took a clandestine turn. She entered into a romantic relationship with Daniel Wong, a fellow student. Given her parents' strict views on dating and their hopes for her to prioritize education, Jennifer kept this relationship hidden for almost 7 years. This secret relationship became a sanctuary for her, a space where she felt understood, away from the pressures of her double life. But as with all edifices built on deception, Jennifer's eventually began to crumble. The pressures of maintaining her lies, combined with the strain of her secret relationship, began to take a toll. Desperation led her to concoct even more elaborate tales. At one point, while her parents believed she was enrolled in a university and living on campus, Jennifer was, in reality, staying with a friend, working low-wage jobs, and spending her time with Daniel. Like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell for weekly, chilling crime content. Let us know in the comments who you'd like us to cover next. Living a double life. In the confines of this bond, Jennifer found an escape from the overwhelming pressures she faced at home. Daniel, who attended the same high school as Jennifer, became the cornerstone of her hidden life. Daniel was well aware of Jennifer's double life, and their shared experiences of navigating strict parental expectations bonded them further. Jennifer's double life took a deeper dive post-high school. To her parents, she was a University of Toronto student, diligently pursuing a degree in pharmacology. In reality, she had never enrolled. Jennifer went to extreme lengths to maintain her facade, even buying secondhand university textbooks and watching pharmacology videos to keep up with conversations at home. While her parents believed she was dedicating herself to studies, Jennifer was leading a very different life. She taught piano and worked in a restaurant to fund her secret life, and she often stayed overnight with Wong, citing study sessions and a friend's proximity to the university as reasons. However, as the years passed, the strain of maintaining her two worlds began to mount. Jennifer's parents, while unsuspecting of her academic deceptions, did eventually discover her relationship with Daniel. They disapproved, seeing him as a distraction from her studies and future prospects. Their discovery led to even stricter rules and curfews, making it even harder for Jennifer to meet Daniel and further exacerbating her sense of entrapment. The secrecy surrounding Jennifer and Daniel's relationship, coupled with the external pressures from her family, created a volatile mix. This emotional crucible led the couple to take actions that would eventually have tragic consequences. Their bond, which once represented a sanctuary from the outside world, became the catalyst for a dark and sinister plot. Descent into madness. By 2010, the charade began to wear thin. Jennifer, now 24, was entrapped in her web of lies. The discovery of her ongoing secret relationship with Wong led to an ultimatum from her parents: end the relationship or move out. The weight of her double life, combined with her parents' demands, pushed Jennifer to a breaking point. This led Jennifer down a path of desperation. After contemplating suicide, her thoughts took an even more sinister turn. Jennifer believed that if her parents were out of the picture, she could live her life freely. It would untangle her web and allow her and Daniel to be the couple they wanted to be. Furthermore, with her parents gone, Jennifer believed she would inherit their savings, and as the eldest child, she'd be the recipient of their life insurance payouts. The allure was too much for Jennifer to resist, and so in late 2010, Jennifer Pan and Daniel Wong orchestrated a plan to kill Jennifer's parents. The murder plot. Wong supplied Jennifer with a burner phone and gave her the contact details for a man he knew named Lenford Crawford. Crawford was one of Wong's so-called underworld contacts, and Jennifer promised Crawford that she'd pay him $10,000 out of her inheritance to kill her parents. Crawford agreed and summoned the help of two contacts, David Malviganum and Eric Carty, to carry out the contract killing. Jennifer and Crawford then fixed the specifics of their plan. They would stage a home invasion and murder her parents, making it look like a random act of violence. And on November 8th, 2010, the sinister plan became a reality. November 8th, 2010. Crawford familiarized himself with Jennifer's neighborhood, and on the afternoon of November 8th, 2010, he sent Jennifer a text message that read, "After work, okay, will be game time." That night, while hand-rested and bit-red downstairs, Jennifer bid her mother goodnight and discreetly unlocked the front door. At 10:02 p.m., Jennifer turned on her bedroom light, which acted as the signal for Crawford and his men to enter. Minutes later, Lenford Crawford, David Malvignum, and Eric Carty burst into the house, all carrying firearms. At gunpoint, the men restrained Han and Bick, covering their heads with blankets, and led them down to the basement. To maintain the illusion of a home invasion, the men also restrained Jennifer, but they pushed her upstairs, out of sight of her parents. After ransacking the house and looting all the valuables, one of the gunmen shot Bitt 3 times in the head, then shot Han once in the face and once in the shoulder. The gunman fled, leaving behind 2 dead parents and 1 restrained young girl. The assassination was complete, and so Jennifer applied the finishing touches to the illusion. She wiggled free from her restraints and called the police, crying to the operator that 3 men had invaded her home and shot her parents. But then, Jennifer heard sounds coming from the basement. Her father, Han, emerged from the door, bruised and bloody, but miraculously alive. Jennifer's plan had failed. Medics arrived and took Jennifer and her father into hospital. Soon, Han slipped into a comatose state, so it was up to Jennifer to inform the police of what happened. And it wasn't long before the cracks in her story began to show. Police suspicions. Upon arrival at the crime scene, police noted that Jennifer's restraints appeared to be superficial. While her parents had been tied tightly, Jennifer's binding seemed loose and almost staged. Additionally, despite claiming to have her hands tied behind her back for hours, she was somehow able to make a phone call to 911. Her detailed account of the intruder's actions and her ability to provide specifics, despite her proclaimed state of panic and duress, also raised eyebrows. As investigators delved deeper, Jennifer's narrative exhibited more inconsistencies. When Han awoke from his coma, he was able to provide investigators with a much different version of events. Han claimed that while the gunmen were restraining them, he noticed Jennifer whispering something to one of the attackers. Later, the police asked Jennifer to simulate how she freed herself from her bonds to call 911, but she was unable to do so with any real conviction. As police pieced together the cell phone records, text messages, and other electronic communications, a chilling, premeditated conspiracy came to light, implicating Jennifer as the mastermind behind the plot to murder her parents. As the web of deception unraveled, Jennifer's composure wavered noticeably. The final slip came when detectives challenged her with a fabricated police technique, wherein they claimed that an undercover officer had been in contact with the supposed intruders. Faced with a seemingly insurmountable pile of evidence, Jennifer finally broke. Her lies no longer able to shield her from the glaring spotlight of truth. Thus, what began as a purported burglary unfolded into a sinister plot of deceit, manipulation, and family tragedy, orchestrated by none other than Jennifer herself. On November 22, 2010, 2 weeks after the attack, Jennifer Pan was arrested on suspicion of murdering her parents. Trial and sentencing. Jennifer's case went to trial in 2014, and it gripped the nation as the harrowing details of the young girl's plot to kill her parents came to light. Prosecutors painted a picture of a young woman caught in a web of deceit, desperately trying to free herself from the suffocating expectations of her parents. This desperation, they argued, drove her to orchestrate a chilling conspiracy to end their lives. Alongside Jennifer, Daniel Wong, Lenford Crawford, David Malvingham, and Eric Carty faced the court, all charged in relation to the conspiracy and murder. The trial saw testimonies that pieced together a damning narrative, from the covert planning stages, the monetary agreements for the hit, to the incriminating text messages that sealed their fates. Of particular impact was the testimony of Jennifer's father. His haunting account of that fateful night and his raw emotional responses only further cemented Jennifer's role in the conspiracy in the eyes of the jury. In December 2014, after a prolonged trial, Jennifer Pan, along with Wong, Crawford, and Malvingham, were found guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder. They were each handed a life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. Eric Carty, whose trial proceedings were separate, later also received a life sentence. The Jennifer Pan case stands out as one of the most bewildering instances of parricide in modern history. Jennifer's story contrasts the pursuit of parental dreams against a child's desperation, creating a chilling narrative that underscores the devastating result of suppressed emotions and the lack of genuine familial understanding.